Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I'm joined by a very athletic guest. Hello, Maria.
Hello, how's it going?
It is going fantastic. I'm super excited to talk to you today. Guys, Maria is amazing. Maria Khan is captain of the Pakistan national women's football team. Wow, talk about celebrity. I want to hear all about your story, Maria. Please tell me how you got involved in the sports industry.
Yeah, so I grew up in a sports family. I was born and raised in Colorado, and my family comes from a squash background. So sports and athletics has always been something that's been in front of me my whole life. My grandfather, Hashim Khan, is considered the godfather of squash. He is one of the greatest squash players of all time, and he is one of the first Pakistani athletes to go and win a world title in the 50s. So, yeah, so for me, being in sports is kind of something, I guess you could say it's in my DNA a little bit. And as far as getting involved in football, that's something that happened at a really young age. So I've been playing ever since I was 6 years old, and it all started at lunchtime at recess in elementary school, where I would play with the boys during lunchtime and just got a really good feeling beating up on them. So I remember coming home, asking my mom, like, Mom, I'm loving this feeling I'm having. I want to play football. And here we are now, over 25 years later.
That's amazing. And obviously, being like the captain of a national team, that in itself is such an incredible feat. What kind of challenges came with that, and how do you feel you overcame them or are currently overcoming them?
Yeah, so I feel, every country has its challenges, and every sports team has its challenges as well. I think captaining a South Asian national team poses a big array of different challenges, right? We have culture thrown in there, we have religion, we have economic standing, like there's so many things, resources, facilities, there's a lot of different things that we as a national team face. And again, a lot of our counterparts in the rest of Asia, as well as the rest of the world for women's football for that matter. So I think for me, specifically to Pakistan, I think something that both our men's and women's team face currently is just access to funding, right? We're a new federation, you can say. We've obviously participated in the past, but we're coming off of an 8-year FIFA ban, right? So in those 8 years, so many things have changed in the game globally, and we've been playing catch up ever since, right? So we don't have a men's or women's league currently in Pakistan. So as far as access to playing regular 11-a-side football for both men or women, it's currently not there. So when we go and play international competitions, it's a challenge, right? Because half of our team are playing regular football, which are normally your diaspora players who have Pakistani roots, but live abroad. And then you have the girls that are in Pakistan, living in Pakistan, so who don't have access to a regular 11-a-side league. So again, for us, again, I'll keep reiterating, both men's and women's, we face very similar challenges with our national teams. But again, hopeful that once things get sorted within our federation and elections happen, then we can really start figuring out how we can continue to develop the talent that we have and the amazing talent that we have in our country.
I love that. I love how it has unified your country more than anything. Like it's not about being a female football player or a male football player. It's about how you can collectively drive that change and change the way that the football or like sports even is viewed in that part of the world. Now, being the captain of a football team is a pretty interesting career choice. What kind of fun or surprising or just unexpected experiences have come along with your path?
Yeah, so I think it's just the ability to get so many different girls, so many different personalities on the same page, right? And really trying to instill the culture that the technical staff, that the head coach want for the team, and really channeling that down, through the different layers within the team, right? Because also with the national team and a senior national team, you get a wide range of age groups, right? So for example, on our national team, you have the youngest player last year was 15 years old, right? And then you have myself, who's the oldest player in the team, or one of the oldest players in the team at 33. Right. So there's a big age gap in the team itself. So that's also different generations. That's different ways of learning. That's different ways of retaining information. That's different ways of communication, right? You got millennials, Gen Z, all on the same team. So again, for me, I think the biggest learning and one of the biggest challenges was just really how to get the best out of my teammates in a way that is best for them, right? Because it's really something I've learned, and I've learned it the hard way because I've made mistakes along the way, is it's not a one size fits all approach, right? I used to think that, okay, well, the captains that I had growing up were this way, and, it was a one size fits all. But then I forgot, well, we were more or less all the same age. So again, the way we communicated, the time period in which we grew up in, and the style in which we grew up in was very different. And then also, we can't neglect the fact that, everyone's circumstances and the way they've been raised and the way they've been brought up, and, their lives outside of football have been really different. So I think for me, something that has been really important is really just taking the time to sit and really understand my teammates and get to know them outside of football, right? Because a lot of, for us, our experiences, they make us, right? And what we've experienced really have an impact on how we are as people. So again, for me, it's just really important to really understand my girls outside of the pitch, and really how we can bring out the best of them on the pitch as well as off the pitch, right? Because our job doesn't stop just after the whistle blows.
I love that. I love how passionate you are in the way that you speak. You're not just talking about what you do day to day, you're actually showing the heart and soul that you bring into it. And the fact that you clearly, like, you are what a leader should be. You do embody the values of a leader, of thinking about your people first, your team first, how to unite them, and how to not necessarily change them, but make sure that everybody has they you can harness each person's kind of quirks and skills for the same goal. And I'm just curious, what is your favorite thing about being a captain?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow. I've never been asked that. I've never been asked that question. Oof. I think for me, it's having the opportunity to leave a space better than I found it, right? And I think for me, it's bringing my experience that I had since I was 6 years old and been on a pathway, right? So for me, I've been so privileged to have been on a football pathway, right? I knew, okay, I'm starting to play soccer, football at the age of 6. I'm going to work hard because I want to get a Division 1 scholarship. And then after that Division 1 scholarship, I want to go pro. And then that's my pathway, right? So I think for me, having those experiences and actually living that pathway till this day, it's something that I feel are invaluable lessons that I've learned, right, along the way, and then how I can bring those lessons over to my teammates and share best practice. Yeah, I think for me, that's something that I really like. I love it. I love promoting, the talent that we have in our team. I love promoting South Asian talents that we have that a lot of times go unnoticed because everyone's so focused on, again, no offense, but a lot of people in the women's football world, they're focused on European football, they're focused on South American football. And a lot of times the talent in Asia is sitting there right under everyone's noses, just going unnoticed. So yeah.
I love that. I love the fact that you're talking about what kind of impact you want to have, what mark do you want to leave on this generation, what lessons do you want them to take from you, and to take it from somebody who's literally grown up with the sport. Literally, it's in your DNA, it's in your blood. And if there's anybody who has a passion or who will succeed in this industry, it's you, because of the fact that it's part of your identity from what I'm witnessing right now. And that takes me to my final question for you today, Maria. I know that you've talked about kind of bringing your team together, talked about kind of bringing awareness towards the South Asian players that you have. What word of advice would you want to leave with the listeners today?
Don't be scared of rejection. I think that's something that I'm currently experiencing. And I think for me, if it was my younger self, I probably would have struggled a little bit with it and been like, why? And kind of taken, what's wrong with me and all this stuff. But I think now, having the experience that I've had, been in this game for a while now, I think for me that rejection is just a way of you being protected and getting ready for something else. Right. And embracing it. Like you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. But something that I've read recently is you don't let someone else's opinion of you become your opinion of yourself. So that's something that I'm, really trying to strive by, because it's so important, and we have to remind ourselves of that regularly.
That is such a powerful message. Like, I love your way with words. Like, you know how to say what you want to say without necessarily going on for too long or going too deep. Like, your words are short and sweet and super impactful. And that's what makes you someone that's so inspiring and so easy to listen to. And I'm really grateful that you took the time to speak to me today and shared your incredible story with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me, not only me, but others like me a platform. It really helps for sure.
I am so happy to help you. And thank you so much for taking the time to be on my show today, Maria. Take care. Bye.